another surgery is necessary, and that surgery will take place on Monday. And so we're asking and calling on the community members to come be here in prayer as a part of a prayer vigil. We're asking to come beginning at noon on Monday and be outside of Grady praying around the clock for this child, this innocent child.
At this point, how's the child? Can we talk about the child for a minute?
The child is in critical condition. Not able to breathe on his own. He's having another surgery which will hopefully put him in a position that he will be able to begin to breathe on his own in the next 7 to 14 days. But this is very touch and go with respect to his health.
And the family,
This is a very difficult situation. They never imagined that they would be facing something like this when one night they're just asleep in their bed and the next thing they know, their baby, unbeknownst to them, is injured. And I think that's what the community should also know is that the police did not alert them of the initial injury. Their child was just taken away. And so they discovered later how severely injured their child was, and it has been absolutely devastating. They've had to have family come in from around the country to try to provide support for them, spiritual, financial, just support, emotional support, so that they can try to get through this. They have 3 young daughters right now that are up in a waiting room, and they've spent hours upon hours in this waiting room just hoping that their little brother will survive his injuries.
I know that you've been dealing a lot with the injury of the child. Have you had a chance to go review the case? And what do you think of this?
Well, what we know is that we have evidence of where the playpen was at the time the flash grenade was thrown, and we're very clear that that playpen was not within 6 to 7 feet of that unit. And any allegation by any law enforcement agency or anyone else is a fabrication if they're saying that that playpen was positioned to block the door. Any adult, any parent knows that when you have a toddler, you're going to have that playpen or crib right next to your bed, which it was in Buku's case. It was right next to his parents' bed, right there, and there is the notion that they would have him 6 or 7 feet away from his loving mother is absurd.
So it seems that we're discussing an informant that went in, didn't see any evidence, yada yada. So and then they make their entry and the tragedy occurs.
We want to correct that.
What was the time? Okay, go ahead.
We want to correct that.
All right.
First and foremost.
And can we add to that at the same time, sir? The child didn't reside with this one, is that correct?
They were visiting. They had been visiting but they had been in this home for about 2 months, and they were out front. This is a stay-at-home dad who was out in front of the home playing with the children on a daily basis, and so any surveillance that was done would have easily revealed that there was a father with 4 children who played in that driveway. If you look at the other photographic evidence, as you come into that side door, there's a playpen sitting outside the door, a child's playpen outside the door, and then there was the child's playpen that he actually slept in inside of the room. So if you come in, and officers are supposed to be trained on investigation prior to their actions, if you come through the door and you see a playpen, you see a van with 4 car seats in it, is that not evidence that there are children residing in that location?
Have the police been specific with you at all about the time span between the so-called informant that did the investigation and then the subsequent entry into the home?
They have not. We intend on Monday to obtain a copy of the search warrant to meet with law enforcement to discuss exactly step by step what was done. We are starting our own independent investigation. We are hiring our own use of force expert said through the media, again, defies both professional law enforcement training and common sense. And this family, they know exactly where their son was at the moment that he was injured. And for them to say anything other than he was next to their bed, it's an effort for them to try to cover it up. And so that is why Mr. Coleman and Senator Ford are having to apply both community and political pressure to try to bring about the truth. Because what we're concerned about, having dealt with a number of officer shootings in cases where there was police brutality, is that officers will write a report, they will deny their involvement, and then it will come out later that in fact there's a cover-up. Our concern is they've already begun moving towards trying to cover up the truth so that this family will not be able to know exactly who is responsible for injuring their child in this very, very serious way. No matter what happens, what we know right now is that their son's life has been forever altered. That he will never live the same kind of lifestyle that he would have on Tuesday morning before this grenade is thrown inside of his plate. So right now, the prayer is he lives, he survives. They will be there as a family to do whatever they need to do to rehabilitate him, but he'll never be the same. Somebody has to be responsible, be held responsible, and just saying that this is just an accident, oh well, is really an insult to their intelligence and to this child's humanity.
Thank you. Very good.
Take this from the bottom to the top, and get it there.
Marcus, can you speak to that? They don't.
Sorry, sir. You guys would love, we would love to hear from you if you want to speak. That's fine if you don't. Okay, that's fine. And you guys have already done that. Go ahead and step up a little. That's good, right there.
My name is Marcus Coleman, M-A-R-C-U-S-C-O-L-E, M-A-N. I'm the founder of SOS.
What is SOS?
It stands for Save Ourselves, Civil Rights Movement.
Gotcha, thank you. So, tell us, what is your involvement with this case?
Well, first and foremost, I want to make sure that it's understood this family is taking a lot of ridicule. This family is the victim. This family overnight has become the face of police brutality. I want to make sure that we're clear that their young son has taken a flash grenade to the face and chest area. I want people to think about that, the pain that this little boy is going through, fighting for his life. We have dealt with no-knock warrants here in Atlanta. Attorney Davis, Senator Ford, myself. We know the tragedies of no-knock warrants. They seem to serve no-knock warrants in our communities and our communities only, whether it's Katherine Johnston, whether it's killing our grandparents, or whether it's Boo-Boo, where they are. Basically, he is fighting for his life. I don't want to say that the child is in harm of death, but that is the reality here. And so we're asking the community. We're trying to get the sympathy of the community. We're trying to fight this on a community basis, from a legal basis, and also from a legislative basis. We need the community to join us on Wednesday at 10:30 as we take a trip to the District Attorney's Office of Habersham County. That trip will be to hand deliver a letter asking that these officers be brought up on charges. We feel like that their activities of that day were criminal. Also, the treatment of this family inside of that home is criminal. This family was not involved in the selling of drugs. This family was visiting family members. And as it was stated before, if we're doing correct investigating, it should have been known that children were in that home. Last point I want to make. When this family was briefly detained, They had no idea what had happened to their son. Their son was whisked away in an ambulance. They were told that he did not sustain any serious injuries. When this family continued to ask the officers present, "Where is my son?" they were told to shut up and sit down. They are victims. We understand mistakes are made all of the time, but it's how you rectify it and how you handle that situation during the mistake. This family was treated like criminals. They were disrespected repeatedly, and we are asking the community to feel our outrage and to feel this family's pain. Join us 10:30, Habersham County District Attorney's Office.
Title, please, sir.
My name is Vincent Ford. I serve as the State Lieutenant, 39th District in Fulton County.
Sir, walk us through what you're taking.
Several years ago, well, first of all, let me say this. We would ask the community at large to pray for this baby. First and foremost, our hearts and our prayers are with this family and with this baby, and asking God to bring this family through this great tragedy and to restore this child to good health, first and foremost. Several years ago, when Catherine Johnston was murdered by rogue Atlanta Police Department officers, we knew then that it was just a matter of time before another situation involving a no-knock warrant would occur where an innocent person was either killed or injured. There's no more, you cannot imagine any more innocent person than a 19-month-old child. And to say it bluntly, we're outraged at what happened to this family. My understanding, no drugs were found, nothing illicit was found at this residence. The person they were looking for was not found. We're asking for a couple of things. One, we're going to ask the U.S. Attorney to begin a simultaneous investigation into what happened at that residence. We're very concerned that apparently the attitude of law enforcement in this county is such that they are trying to cover up this situation. So we're going to ask the U.S. Attorney to do a simultaneous investigation of this situation. We will deliver that letter on Monday to the U.S. Attorney.
Can I ask a question? Senator, describe to us your feeling of the cover-up that is occurring.
Well,
or the attempt.
I will.
Okay.
What I'm concerned about, what we want to do is make sure that the all evidence is preserved. It's my understanding that the law enforcement is not even treating this scene as a crime scene. Our confidence, very honestly, is such that we don't trust the police with the attitude that they've already communicated to the community, that apparently everything was okay, no problems. We just want the U.S. Attorney to get engaged in this process, just as the U.S. Attorney did in the Catherine Johnston case. Simultaneous investigations and let the chips fall where they may with indictments, charges, and trials. Secondly, let me finish and I'll take any and all questions.
Okay, all right,
I promise. Second, we are going to continue to fight for revisions to the no-knock warrant law here in Georgia. We have introduced no-knock legislation in the legislative session immediately after the Katherine Johnston murder. The authors of the bill were Democrat, Republican, bipartisan. It passed out of the Senate. It did not get out of the House. And we want to introduce that legislation and get that legislation passed because we want no mother or father to have to endure what this family is enduring right now. So we're going to go forward with those two things in mind. One, ask the U.S. Attorney to get engaged in this issue. And two, long-term, introduce legislation which would at least put some restraint on the issuance of no-knock warrants. And I'll be glad to take any and all questions at this point.
Well, Senator, the county has repeatedly said that they're conducting a full, unbiased investigation. And I think it...
Oh, well, that's what they say. And out of an abundance of caution, we think that a U.S. attorney investigating, at the same time, it's not unusual to have parallel investigations going on. We think it would be better to have that process go on so that any potential cover-up might be prevented. Is that it?
Is there anything else that you guys would like to add? Please do it. You can hear you right up.
Pray for our child. He's not doing too good.